Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a really busy day on ZSR. And welcome to VSR 4 and the Winners Cup 80% Tournament 2024 with a doubleheader. Upper bracket, Prep 8, and lower bracket round 1. DarkySquid going up against atxmartin in the upper bracket, and in the lower bracket, Draqueus. Yes, Draqueus going up against Inco. So without further ado, let's hand it off to two wonderful commentators. Take it away, you two, Fire Turtle and Nitros. It's all yours.
Yeah, these are gonna be some good races. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
We're definitely keeping a super close eye on the race between atxmartin and Darky because it's an upper bracket race. Whoever wins it is going to be qualifying for, I believe, the winners bracket semi-finals. So that would secure them like top 6, whereas the other match between Inco and Draqueus is the lower bracket round 1, so whoever loses this will unfortunately be eliminated from the tournament, but the winner of them will go on to actually face me in the next round, so that's of course quite interesting watching this, but yeah, I'm definitely excited for these matchups. How about you?
I am very excited for Darky vs Martin.
Yeah, this is going to be
That's
a really interesting matchup.
I think Inco vs Draqueus is going to be very close. They're closing their times so far, I think.
Yeah, what's actually fun to note is that I believe both of them got like high 137s in their races last week. So if we see anything like that this week as well, then we could be looking at a really close race between the two. I think they should be ready to start very soon here. Just getting ready. Runners just double checking real quick the rules for their resetting before the run. Of course, we're resetting the game to set up for some RNG manipulation shenanigans right at the start of the run. Just a little bit different, but conveniently enough here, like both of the left side games, like then the left side matchup, both of them are playing on the Switch version, and from what it looks like, at least, both the right side ones are on emulators, so shouldn't really be any like kind of differences in time based on the platform. It should be even ground for all of the runners involved.
Yes.
Which we love to see. But yeah, today is such a busy day that there's even going to be another race, I believe, an hour after this as well. Also in the lower bracket between Hickory and Command, so I think that'll probably be on Myth's channel, most likely. Yeah, no genuine GBA runners. Not many people play this on real hardware, but there is people that play on Game Boy Player or Game Boy Interface, such as my co-commentator Fire Turtle here. And also me until a couple of days ago, but now I use the Switch version because I'm a fraud. So it's just kind of, times change. The Switch version is a little bit faster because it runs at a faster frame rate compared to GBA. And some of when you save and quit the game and soft reset, that is also slightly faster on the Switch, so it's a bit of time save if you're willing to get used to the controller and everything. So, but otherwise there isn't really any serious kind of advantage or anything. But Switch is just really nice to record. I mean, it's just HDMI output, super simple. Most capture cards will be able to record it. It looks like our runners are starting to ready up now, at least. Just a little bit of delay here at start, but they are getting ready to start a race. This is gonna be good. Again, I'm very stoked for this matchup on the left between Darky and Martin, two of the definitely top runners of the tournament. Seeds 3 and 6, respectively, in terms of their standing on the leaderboard at the start of the tournament. So, yeah, Darky having a slight edge, and we'll see what Martin can do here. It should definitely be pretty competitive. It's a little bit tricky before the races as well, because they have this little verification kind of thing where people use the same file names for file 2 and 3, just to make sure that there's no like kind of dodgy business going around. I mean, I don't think anyone would actually cheat in this tournament, but just a little thing that the organizers set up. It does suck though if you happen to be playing on cartridge, for example, because then if you had some practice files or something, then that's a bit tricky to keep around.
Changed the rules for that.
Yeah, thankfully.
Just for me.
Pay respects to the people on a cartridge. Have you been using the same cartridge ever since you started running?
Yes, I believe so. Ever since I started running on console, it's been the same cartridge. And I also still have the European cartridge from when I was a child.
Nice.
So it's pretty nice too.
Looks like all of the runners are finally ready to get gaming. The race is going to be starting very soon. The clock is counting down. Wishing all of the runners best of luck, of course. This is going to be very interesting. But
yes,
of course we need to get
to all of them.
We need to get past the intro and everything first. Which, you know, no one will make any mistakes, I'm sure. It's fairly simple stuff, as we all know. See the resets coming in. And we are finally off. I can't believe we really made it here. These awesome races. I've been waiting the whole week for this, honestly.
Oh yeah, I've been waiting for this one.
It's gonna be crazy. Yeah, once again, something that's a bit interesting to make note of, for example, is that DarkySquid actually managed to set a new personal best a few hours ago, actually, while he was practicing in the afternoon. He set a time of 1:28:33, which net him 3rd place on the leaderboard. Very, very impressive stuff. Yeah, he just had...
impressive.
Yeah. He had a couple of slip-ups on the late game, I believe, but of course, in true DarkySquid fashion, early game was on point. So we'll see if he's gonna keep that form for this race. I mean, it is not the easiest to be consistent in this game. I guess the early game is usually alright, but especially later on in the run, there's going to be a lot of manipulations and tricks that are pretty precise and lose a lot of time if you do end up messing it up. But we'll get to that when it's actually relevant. For now, just going to be making our way through these intros, mashing all the text, and yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see the two runners on the left having some leads in the intro. Of course, they are also the strongest runners, but also from the Switch version, as we all know. It's cheating, so it loads faster.
It's definitely a lot faster than cheating.
Yeah, and it's especially noticeable just because not much really happens in the beginning of the run. I mean, you just kind of mash some text, roll around, basic movement. So, yeah, normally you do see quite obvious differences early on between a Switch run and a non-Switch run, just from that faster frame rate.
And nobody messed up the RNG manipulation in the beginning.
That's very nice. I don't think anyone has messed it up so far in the tournament. I will say many things have been messed up, but that's one that, yeah, that would be surprising, to say the least, especially with the coordinated resets at the start. You would have to, like, miscount your rolls, since they are the ones that advance the RNG into place. But yeah, once again, I'm expecting some close matchups here because, again, if you weren't around before the race started, I did mention that both Inco and Draqueus, Draqueus, his name is so difficult, they both had like 137s set last week. And I mean, I'm sure they both made handfuls of mistakes, but I mean, at least for Draqueus, I believe it was a big PB. His last PB on the leaderboard was all the way back from 2019, which I believe was the oldest PB going into this tournament by a decent amount. That even predates things like P@Clip by quite some time.
Oh wow.
2019, yeah.
Yeah.
So a very different time, but very cool to see runners like that returning to the game all this time later to pick up all the new tech and shave off so much time. Always very nice. I mean, you yourself have taken some breaks as well over the years and also come back with the new strats. You'd love to see the old gamers still around. And I mean, speaking of old, Darky and Martin are definitely, at least by now I would say, they're both fairly veteran as far as the runners in this tournament go. I mean, I think Darky has been around since 2017 or so, and Martin since 2018. So they've definitely been around for quite some time. They were both part of the previous Minish Cap tournament that was hosted in 2018 that you were also part of. Of course, Darky placing second in that one, which is, yeah, we'll see if he managed to replicate that or even improve this time around. Still a top runner.
Yeah, I actually predicted him to win the entire thing, so I have lots of expectations from him.
For this tournament?
Yeah, for this tournament.
Oh. Pressure's on. We are almost out of the intro here. Darky actually managed to pick up a slight lead. Or is it Martin that has a lead? I can't even tell.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the delay.
Martin has the slight lead. Wonder how that happened. I guess Darky does sometimes complain that his mashing is not as good. He does play on keyboard, which it's good for many things, but I wouldn't say mashing the text is one of them, since on controller you can just kind of spin the control stick around and advance it really fast, which is definitely very nice.
to mash text files in this game with a control stick.
Alright, we're into Hyrule Field at least. It's gonna be a bunch of rolls, getting into the woods, traveling to the first dungeon. Hope to see most runners here at least get through with as little damage taken as possible, and as clean of movement as possible as well. Martin making it through very smoothly, as does Darky. Looks like no one actually took any damage so far, which is quite nice. Yeah, the enemy placements are random. Of course, the RNG was consistent at the start of the game, but there's already been definitely enough stuff to definitely separate the RNG seeds for each individual runner to the point where they will have to react and adjust depending on the situations they get given to them. But so far, yeah, just one small hit taken by Inco, but otherwise, everyone making it through quite smoothly to Eslo. No missed rolls so far. We will see if anyone dares to attempt the legendary first cycle lily pad. I know Martin has pulled it off in a run before, so that's something he might be looking to go for, but we will see. Basically just doing perfectly timed rolls away from the stump.
Yeah, it's very, very precise.
It is very precise. But you can make an earlier cycle of the lily pad going around on the water, which does save a decent bit of time. Oh, not sure if this can work now. It was a decent attempt. But Darky actually gets it. Wow.
Darky gets it?
I was watching Martin, but wow, Darky actually does it. That is crazy.
That is crazy.
We actually did get seen in the tournament. I remember talking about
this.
Didn't
expect that.
In the match yesterday and thinking, when I was talking with Martin and we were saying, well, we probably won't see that in the tournament happening since it's so precise, and just one day later I'm proven wrong. He just does it just like that.
He's a machine.
That will give Darky a slight lead here, but he was a bit behind earlier on, so I guess it kind of like, you know, it's not
like they're pretty much.
It's not a massive time save, but it is decent. It's a few seconds, so yeah, I mean, very, very cool to see that in a tournament. It's only been done a handful of times at all in just normal attempts of this game, so in a tournament, no reset setting, I mean, what can you even say? It's quite incredible. And I mentioned this last time Darky was racing as well, but he's also kind of known to be super, super clean in the early game, always getting really fast times. Kind of what I'm expecting. Martin also being fairly decent in the early game, but yeah, I mean, even if you're super good in the early game, you know, it's your split times look really nice, but the real tests will definitely come later on in the middle of the run, and later on as well.
Yeah, it's a nice lead though to have, in case anything goes wrong with the more difficult tricks later on.
We see some solid sub-10s for both our Switch runners. Draqueus actually not running with a timer, but looks like Inco has pulled ahead a little bit in their race as well. Deepwood Shrine continuing on a lot of what was in the overworld earlier, like reacting to how the enemies are moving, since it's different every time, completely random. Adjusting your movement according to what the enemies give you to slow down and take as little, or slow down as little as possible and take as little damage as possible. It's definitely a more technical dungeon than it would seem from the outside, I would say, just because there's no tricks, so it's just about perfecting the movement and just kind of executing based on what the game is giving you. So it still is a point where, despite there not being any particular tricks, like, the good runners will gain a significant amount of time even on this dungeon compared to the sort of lesser mid-level runners. I don't know how to say it nicely, but yeah.
Yeah, I think anybody who's running for a long time gets pretty good early games.
Yeah, and you see here as well on the right side of the screen that the pesto fly thing is giving the runners a bit of a hard time. It is random how that guy is moving as well. You see Darky, or Martin at least, did not have to kill him, which can be a bit of difference there. I wouldn't say that there is a huge amount of luck that decides big time swings in this game. I mean, there's a lot of minor luck that can lose you time just over time, right? But the like really big points, I would say, are mostly manipulated with use of RNG manipulation later on.
Yeah, right.
So there shouldn't really be any big concern of like actual luck swing.
The bosses do have a lot of time, comparatively a lot of time less on RNG, but it's still pretty minor.
This room that most of the runners are in right now is a very prime example of also having to make decisions based on what the enemies are doing. You could be rolling and potentially taking damage boost to maybe go a bit faster, but then you will have lower hearts for the rest of the dungeon, which can be quite scary. I mean, there's definitely a good amount of heart refills all around, so there shouldn't be a risk of anyone dying.
Martin getting hit a couple times.
Yeah, he's got some hearts ahead of him that he could elect to pick up. He does get the pot right there. Yeah, it's always good to know your backups. Darky with a little bit of lead going into this Matter Pillar fight. It looks like he's getting the 2-cycle no problem pretty quickly as well. Should be a very fast Gust Jar time on his end. Martin also with a clean 2-cycle.
Also, Draqueus is also getting 2 cycles.
Yeah, keeping it fairly close for them as well. We're hoping that we won't see any mistakes in this lily pad section. I would say this part is like one of the most infuriating parts whenever you do mess up the movement here. It's from like, if you're mashing the button, mashing it a little bit too long. So it just messes up so much really. The lily pad is a bit finicky to control. At least for me, it's one of the worst feeling-wise mistakes that you can make to mess up one of these gust puffs.
Yeah, definitely. Also, pretty difficult to learn as a beginner.
Yeah, I remember when I was new to this game, I used to miscount all the time how many times you're actually supposed to do it, because if you just remember it, it should mostly look the same every time. I mean, sometimes you make a different decision whether or not you need to kill any of the enemies, but otherwise, you know, the amount of times you use the Gust Jar is pretty consistently mapped out, I would say. Darky with just 1 heart left, but he should be fine. He might get a safety heart drop for the boss fight, but honestly, I wouldn't be super scared even with 1 heart.
Yeah, I don't expect Darky to get hit during the boss fight.
Yeah, this is looking to be a very solid time entering the boss door from Darky. We will see exactly what it is, but it's almost a 15 3x, which is crazy actually. Okay, like a 15, 41, 42. Very, very strong stuff. But Martin keeping pace. I mean, he's not far behind at all, which is very nice. Yeah, keeping up with Darky in the early game is one of the most difficult things I can imagine, like when racing someone in this game. Especially with that first cycle lollipad into consideration, I would say he's doing quite a good job. This Green True fight does have some resemblance of RNG in it, just in how long the boss decides to stay down and also whether or not he jumps extra times. Both of which are unfortunate to get, but it's not like a super big decider or anything. It's mostly a matter of seconds, really, added to the fight if you get a bit unlucky. See if anyone gets the lucky pattern at the end. Darky does get the charge. That is very nice. This should be a really strong Earth Element time by Darky. Martin with the jumps, but he does.
Unlucky, but he did skip one of the jumps. Yeah.
Yeah, that is the part of the fight that actually takes skill. I would say you need to have some optimal Gust Jar usage on the boss.
I think both Inco and Draqueus got good RNG on that.
You love to see it.
Oh wait, no, Draqueus is still on. Has another cycle to go.
Super interactive boss fight with a lot of changing between the faces, of course. They all look the same.
Yeah.
Darky and Martin both finishing with 17 1x's on the dungeon, which is usually what you're pretty much asking for. I mean, you can get under 1710, but it's super, super difficult, and actually at that point it might be like something you would want some good luck for as well. But they're both doing good, as we expected in the early game. Inco has built up a little bit of a lead over Draqueus, but I do want to stress that in this game, in Minish Cap any percent, nothing is decided for a very long time. At least until like, well, honestly, like the whole run, there's stuff to fail all over the place that is very difficult. But particularly in the mid-game, there's going to be quite a lot of tricks in all of the dungeons there that can lose a lot of time if you happen to fail them. So there's always time to catch up, essentially. Even if you're a little bit at a disadvantage. So I want to see what everyone's health is looking like as well, because there's a lot of enemies that can hit you along the way here, but thankfully it shouldn't really make that big of a difference in like the whole of things, because we do, at least I'm expecting all of the runners to pick up a ferry once we get to Mount Crenel.
I think they're all gonna pick up a ferry.
Yeah. Most likely it's what we're gonna see, since it's just so convenient when you go into the Rupee Cave to pick up. Darky is going to set up for the Scarred Skip. I didn't see the post guy, so you should be good here. That post guy at the top side of the town can sometimes mess you up if he decides to run there. Martin also getting through just fine.
Yep, clean.
Nice roll lift as well. Already doing so many glitches in the run.
Inco getting it as well.
It's like the post guy is playing nice today at least.
No post guy in the way.
Oh, but Draqueus actually steps on the bridge accidentally, which does update your respawn point. You will get it the second try though, so it's a little bit of a time loss. It is always unfortunate because, you know, the guard skip only actually saves like a second or so. So
Yeah, it saves. I'm pretty sure it saves a second.
it's very minimal amount of time, so you always feel like, yeah, it's a bit unfortunate to mess that up when it's for such a little time save anyway. I didn't actually see there, but I think Martin just went for like a roll lift there, which is, you know, nice little, I'm assuming it's faster at least, but I guess
I'm
probably
not
not by
sure
much.
it's faster there, but it's a very short distance, so it should be at least a little faster. But for longer distances, just picking up the bomb, much safer and pretty much the same speed.
Yeah, it's just a very nice setup there to get out of the cave and immediately place and pick up the bomb. It works out really nicely. Darky has taken a decent amount of damage so far on Mod Krenel here. We'll see if he does end up getting to the dungeon with enough health to skip the health at the start. With that, he's tends to skip a lot of the time, since he's a madman living on the edge. But I mean, in a race situation, it's definitely nice to have some extra health just to be safe, I would say. Still have my Switch on and my controller is just doing some inputs on its own. I think it might be haunted.
Maybe that's what you get for switching from GBI to Switch.
Maybe the TMC gods are out to get me. Well, hope here. Looks like Darky is gonna be fine there. The pestles were moving in a bit, so got a bit nervous, but we're hoping for some good RNG for all of the runners, so that none of them get blocked.
Yeah, this is pretty annoying if you get hit there and you have to pick up the seat again.
So I actually missed what happened, but I think Draqueus must have dropped his spring water somewhere.
Oh,
He's going back
missed it
to
as well.
get it again,
Ugh.
which is definitely a sizable time loss. It's one of those
That's
things
very
that are just
unfortunate.
so painful when it happens, because it is really easy to happen, especially if you have the bottle equipped on B. We actually see that he switches it to A here. Because the whole thing in this game is that you hold down B to advance text quicker. So when you're going to a place where, you know, you're expecting to mash the text, you would hold down B in advance, but what I'm assuming at least is that you must have pressed on B a bit too quickly, so that I just dropped spring water, and yeah, unfortunate time loss to happen so early on, but also the fact that it is early on, again, there's plenty of room for things to change in the race later on, so
It might also
definitely
just be a
not
reference to Blue Infinity doing the same mistake in the tournament like years ago.
Oh, was that also in a
The
tournament?
original tournament.
That's crazy. I did not know about that lore actually, but it is a good emote. I do know that much.
Yeah.
Both Darky and Martin on the Krenel wall right now. Thankfully, with at least decent amount of health, not with just one heart. Looks like both of them are getting through without taking any damage, which is very nice.
Yeah, they have good amount of health.
Oh, this tech tight. He's getting
Oh.
close! Oh man.
That is unfortunate.
That is very, very unlucky as well. Normally, like, it kind of looks like the Tektite gets close every time, but normally you are just safe if you just, you know, keep pulling the mushroom and let go in time, but that was just a super unlucky pattern
That
for
was
Martin.
unlucky.
So, Darky extends his lead early on.
To also having to kill the Tactite.
It kind of feels like sometimes in these races, whenever you see something really rare happen to one runner, it just happens for like everyone as well. I don't know if that's just me, but sometimes it feels that way. It's like these things that usually never happen, and then suddenly it just happens to anyone. Anyone and everyone. Yeah, Draqueus just now getting to the grip ring, so a little bit behind early on, but with clean gameplay, should at least hopefully be keeping it closer later on. We'll see, of course, how
they can still make this a close race.
Yeah, of course, you know, we're not hoping for any player's downfall in particular, but
the double hit.
For the sake of a close race, wow, this is really bad luck for
that is so unlucky.
Draqueus. Quarter of heart left. Hopefully there's not a rock at the top. Oh my god. Man. That is honestly just so rough. Both the Krenel water and dying on the mountain, because yeah, as you see, you go all the way back to the start of the mountain. Thankfully, he already has the grip ring, so he can take a faster route to get back up, but yeah, I totally feel his pain in this one. This is very difficult to just mentally make it back, honestly.
Yeah.
But, I mean, with things like Octoclip in the run and the swamp, few mistakes is sometimes all it can take for things to turn back around. So, yeah. Just gotta keep it going. Martin getting a little bit bullied there by those enemies that I don't remember Actually, I think there are Mulldozers. But as long as you get through that cave, you are safe for the dungeon. Darky is actually on 2 hearts and a quarter, so maybe we'll see him skip the health after all. It would be a very on-brand thing for Darky to do, I would say. Especially since he is ahead of his PV right now. Yeah, he does skip the health, so we'll see what ends up happening in the dungeon itself. Of course, we're hoping to not see any other deaths unintentionally, because they do lose quite a bit of time, especially if you're, you know, deep into that specific area. So if you were to die, like, later on in Cave of Flames here, that could be a really big time loss as well. Martin, of course, does pick up some extra health since he was a bit lower, and yeah, plenty of enemies that can just hit you, and you don't really have much of a choice in some instances if you want to keep going fast. I think something worth mentioning as well is I mentioned that Inco's struggling a bit in this bomb room, but he does get a nice bomb drop. As at least some kind of consolation. But yeah, Inco and Draqueus did have 2 very close times in last week's races independently, of course. They both had 137s. I believe Darky had a high 130 in the last race against Hickory, it was. And Martin had a 133. So we'll see what happens this time around. Of course, I did say as well that Darky did get a 128 only a couple of hours ago, and he's currently ahead of that run. But yeah, I mean, nothing is set in stone. Just at the start of Cave of Flames, everything can still happen.
Nobody opting to roll through this fire, I'm guessing.
Wow.
Pretty unfortunate. I would love to see that.
Well, he rolled through the fire right there. It just does big link. Ooh, nice angle for Darky, but he barely misses the Gust Jar. You can have a really nice little thing there where you push the enemy into the hole of the Gust Jar and you feel really cool. Martin does have a nice angle as well, but the enemies actually getting in the way makes it
Everybody is
not
in the
a good
way.
one in the end.
Yes. Can't use the gesture really.
Yeah, Darky is coming up on the bridge here. Yeah, I mean, it's been explained many times before, but it's the angle retention here to skip most of Cave of Flames, and I mean, the main thing we're really looking out for here is that no one soft locks, essentially. I know some runners might be electing to go for safer movement here out of bounds to make sure that there's as little chance as possible to soft lock. I mean, if I know Darky at all, he's probably still going for risky movement, but he does make it across.
I don't have his audio on, so I couldn't hear how many rolls he did. Martin is going for a safe stretch.
Yeah. Ooh, okay, he was actually really far up on the bridge, but
he was
he
pretty
did
close,
get through.
but yeah, they both made it through.
That's all that matters. He's a little bit high on this mini-boss kill, so he's gonna be losing a little bit of time, but he does get him stunned right after, so it's not really a big deal in the end. Inco also coming up here on the Bridge of Death in Cave of Flames. We're also hoping for no soft locks here. Even though, I mean, I will admit that a potential soft lock would make the race a lot closer. But surely now we won't see anything like that.
I would never hope that for a runner to happen.
Of course not, just hypothetically, of course. Very nicely done by Inco as well.
Very nice.
Yeah, this end section of Cave of Flames is exactly where kind of having health actually becomes pretty important, since we're taking so many intentional damage boosts through all of those floor traps. And also for this boss key skip that Darky is performing with some more diagonal retention stuff. He's gonna get boosted by this Rollerbite. Go over the wall into the upper layer. And he's gonna be left on 1 heart, but a little bit less as well. But will he grab health? I mean, probably
One thing
not.
One thing I don't see many runners do is to like hit this rollerblade, because you could still make it actually without the damage.
Yeah.
But
I think the most annoying
anybody
thing
really
there
opts for
is that you have to put him a bit further up on the wall so that it still knocks you on the wall.
It has to be a little bit further up.
So that's what kind of makes it a bit annoying. Darky did end up losing a little bit of time in this Cave of Flames, but still fairly solid runs, I would say, both of the left runners. So it's definitely a very competitive race thus far. This Glee Rock fight, not really too much special stuff. Nice roll dodge there by Darky to avoid that rock. Yeah, when you're rolling in this game you do have invisibility frames, so making use of that is quite creative. He is on low health here, so he's probably gonna hope for some heart drops from the fire there at the bottom of the screen.
The fire should drop a lot of hearts.
Okay, he gets the first run, or the first heart drop of the run for him, as indicated by the text box there. I'll still remember it being the craziest thing to me when I was newer to the game and I watched Darky do a run, and he got his first heart drop in Pals of Winds, which was just utterly nuts to me that you could avoid it for that long. He is not going to be getting
Lero is pretty nuts.
See a long fade there, but Martin, oh man, he barely misses it as well, unfortunately.
So
Still though, I mean, solid.
I wasn't watching
solid
Draqueus' screen. Well, looks like he didn't get bridge skip or something.
Oh, yeah, Draqueus actually has forfeited the race, unfortunately.
I wasn't looking at his screen. Damn.
I will check the VOD to see what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it was on the bridge. Unfortunately,
That is tragic.
yeah, he got on the bridge, but then he accidentally held up, so he jumped off, which does still result in a soft lock. So that is definitely unfortunate to see. You always hate to see a forfeit in any kind of race, but
so many big mistakes can definitely
absolutely
really mess up your motivation to keep going in a race.
But I suppose the right side race will be going over to Inco, assuming he will, just finish the run.
Yeah.
Kind of wins that one by default.
So
But hey,
he finishes.
it gives us even more time to focus on this left side race between Darky and Martin, in which they're both on the Krenel flip right now. It looks like Martin also gets a good lineup, so very clean from both runners.
Getting it. Yep.
Great stuff. That is definitely another trick that's super annoying and frustrating to mess up, since you have to climb down the wall. Well, you would climb down the wall if you accidentally try to position too far down, and yeah, it's just all around a big pain waiting for the beetle to move back into place. Both runners executed it very nicely this time. We will, of course, see as well if Inco gets the skip done. I know he opts for this nice little setup here, actually, to align with the Gust Jar. Yeah.
Nice to see.
This is a nice position, so this should work. Yeah, it's slightly slower, of course, but it's very safe, since it always... Oh, as I say that, he actually messes it up. So you'll have to redo the...
He's doing it
here.
He gets normal way.
Climbs down the wall as well.
Setupless way.
Struggling to move that last pixel, but he manages to do there.
Move 1 pixel strategy, a challenge.
And yeah, to Draqueus in the chat as well. I kind of sympathize as a runner with the forfeit in this case, with those really, really unfortunate mistakes. Spring water, flying on the wall on Krenel into the soft lock skip. It's like pretty much like anyone's biggest nightmare when running through that section in this game. But GG still. I guess that does mean that I will be facing Inco in the race next week, which, exciting times. Martin and Darky, on the meantime, still keeping it close in their race here on the Boots quest. Darky with a little bit of the lead. But Martin is keeping up. Having to move a bit to the right there about the Octor at the moment.
It's quite far ahead, yeah.
He did notoriously waste like 30 seconds or something, I believe, in the Sklerock fight, which for a fight that I said earlier where not much happens in is, a bit unfortunate, but of course.
I'm not seeing anything. My stream's like...
Yeah, the restream thing is a bit broken, but at least I can still see it on the Twitch link itself, the main stream. Looks like Darky did get the boots, sub 41, which is, it's very, very good time for getting the boots. Martin not too far behind, like 15 seconds or so. 15, 20. Okay, now it's coming back up for me as well.
Yeah, it's coming back.
And it's just in time for both of the left
Just in
runners
time.
heading into the swamp. One of the deadliest parts of the whole run.
It
There's
is the
gonna be
most difficult part, in my opinion, like when it comes to execution and skill.
yeah, totally. It starts off with this part where you have to move on the lily pad on the way to get the bow, where we're gonna see this I guess enemy fight here with 5 blue bulldozers they have to beat and hopefully not take too much damage. Darky has pretty good health right now, as does Martin, so it should not be a concern. Just about adapting to where the enemies are moving and killing them as fast as possible. 3 slashes to each of them will do it. Martin being
Could
a
be
bit more
better
fortunate,
RNG, but
getting them on the left, but yeah.
it is pretty usual for these guys.
And now we're going into the Kinstone minute into Piat. I think both runners opt for around a similar thing here. They're going to be doing some movement here after the second Kinstone and hopefully get the Piat in position here. Looks like Darky has got it. Just needs
It's
to
slightly slower minute, but he got it. Which is,
Yeah, it
which
looks like
is what
he's gonna-
matters the most, to just get the P-hat here.
Martin, on the other hand, does mess up a little bit, so he will have to retry the P-hat minute itself. He might be going for a slightly different method here that doesn't involve kinstones, which I myself have at this point forgotten how to do, so I hope he remembers at least. This should be a nice clip setup for Darky, just with the standard boots, and he's got it.
A little bit of trouble moving the P-hat, but he got it.
Martin also now getting the P-hat on the second time around, hopefully not gonna suck it into the Gustar, since that would mean he would have to retry it again. Looks like it should be fine though, he just needs to get the P-hat into position and set up the clip himself. This is one of those parts where it's possible to definitely lose a lot of time if you are unfortunate, because if you do mess up the clip, you'll have to reposition the P-hat and also hit him with the gust charge so he doesn't come back up. But Martin's got a good clip as well, keeping the pace up.
Second try.
So a little bit of time lost there for Martin, but definitely still competitive. Darky setting up for his Armos sandwich.
Like I said,
and Torch
this
of
entire
Wind.
section now is pretty easy to mess up.
Yeah. Nice Armos sandwich though by Darky. Showing no signs of slipping up thus far. Should be getting this. Oh, he actually he did that so fast that the Armos didn't move down, but luckily he knows to back up for that, which I would have honestly forgotten myself. So.
I didn't. I don't know if I've ever seen it.
Yeah. Solid start from Darky. I can't recall if he goes for... And it looks like he's going for the extended kind of minute here. Where is he?
Okay, so Inco is doing a man-up in cave to get a lot more kinstone. Looks like he got it. But Martin failed the lever skill.
Yeah, that is an unfortunate time loss as well. Yeah, that's the really unfortunate thing with this section, is that nice minute by Darky for the Kinstone as well. But if you mess up this late into one of the minutes as well, I mean, you have to retry the entire thing from the save and quit, which is so annoying. That's what leads to these really big time losses.
That's a lot of time though.
Darky, in the meantime, having a really clean Forge of Wind. He just needs to get this almost clip minute and the portal items, and he should be good to go out of this dungeon. Oh, really, really clean by Darky. Yeah, one pass as well.
Nice.
Martin does get the extended minute for the Kingston as well, neither runner having to rely on that kind of extra part of Armor's clip minute, where you would otherwise be trying to manipulate that green Kinstone had you not already gotten it from that Darknet fight. So yeah, both runners looking to have a fast ending to this Forge of Winds. We'll see whether or not Masaldo decides to cooperate with Darky. Getting a really nice first spawn there, at least. I would say, like, getting it in the bottom row but not the middle is pretty much the best outcome, so you don't have to choose 50-50 one of the sides the second time around.
It's definitely nice, so you don't have to guess.
Martin does get through the Armor's clip very nicely. Oh, going on the incorrect bomb frame though for this. Just gotta stay cool and retry it, because he is on quite low health. If he does take too much damage on this trick, yeah, he did mess up there again, but he didn't take damage at least, so, oh man.
Nerves might be getting to him a little bit.
He does get through at least without using his fairy, which is the important part, I would say. It's not the end of the world if you do end up having to use your fairy, since there are plenty of backups, but yeah, having it still there is really, really nice. Darky had a pretty clean fight overall, execution-wise. So he will be exiting this Fortress of Winds looking pretty good, honestly. I mean, the only like main time loss really was on the way to Fortress of Winds with the Piat and everything, but overall, looking pretty good. Very nice run so far. One advantage that Martin is going to have as well out of this fight, assuming he doesn't take too much damage, is that he is on lower heart. We do want to have half a heart or less for this upcoming trick where we're going to want to die. So you'll see Darky there intentionally damaging down on the Oct Rock. Just a little bit slow, since the Oct Rock only deals quarter of a heart per hit. So it's a little bit slow to damage down from that, but in that position you don't really have much of another choice. Martin finishes up Masal and Fortress of Winds as well as Darky is starting the setup for the first instance of a death abuse here to try and open the store. He's gonna be doing the little setup here, saving of course for safety. Very wise move since he's already ahead. Let's see if he gets this setup just fine. Looks good. Just gotta get the Ocarina glitch as well.
Nice.
Missed it once, but a really, really clean backup, so very nicely executed there by Darky. I would argue this split, like, even though a lot of people think that the gauntlet kind of ends on Fortress of Winds, I myself think the split is harder than most would expect, at least to optimize fully. I mean, there's a lot of times in a row Darky has obtained his magical boomerang. Martin also getting the fairy, thankfully. Getting a little bit trolled by the movement, but he's just fine. We'll see Darky set up second instance of a kind of death abuse here.
I guess he's doing a setup again.
Yeah, most likely taking another safety save as well. Very good decision, I would say, given this position. See if he gets the setup down. Looks good to me. And the ocarina glitch. Messing up the first time, the second time as well. Oh. There we go.
There we go.
Darky with a fairly solid lead at this point, going into Temple of Droplets. We will see what it's gonna look like by the time we're at the end of this dungeon, because yeah, this dungeon easily one of the biggest swing points of the run, just from the one trick. And I mean, even though it's like we do so many frame perfect tricks in this run, and Octoclip is technically just a frame perfect trick as well. Just the fact that you have to time it so long after the previous input is what makes it super, super tricky compared to something like an ocarina glitch where you're basically pressing a button and then the other like one frame apart, which just feels a lot more of a smooth motion, you know? But Octoclip is a lot different where you have like a decent amount of frames in between. It's quite difficult time for that reason. Also loses a decent amount of time every time you fail it. Not as much as the previous route, at least, where we were doing a different method of the Octoclip that lost a lot more time if you failed.
Retrying is actually really fast if you compare it to that.
Yeah. Looks like Darky is getting the out of bounds movement here. That was really fast, actually. He got in a position where you didn't even need to jump down from the wall.
He got into the perfect position.
Yeah. It is a bit risky since there's a chance of soft locking, but he proves time and time again that he's just a gamer. But so is Martin. I mean, he is catching up here again. He got through that second OG very nicely as well. He's in the Temple of Droplets. He is out a little less than 2 minutes behind at this point. So we'll see if Octoclip can make a difference here. There's also points later on in the run that can also similarly be time swings, but I wouldn't say any of them are quite to the point of like the Octoclip.
Yeah,
where it's
no.
really easy to lose a lot of time. Martin's struggling a little bit with this OG though. Oh, even gets a stair walk. That is rough.
Yeah, I think the enemy messed him up there, trying to do OG Modern.
You want to remind me what the boss that Darky is fighting is called?
Wobbuffet, that's what we call him.
Oh, right.
And
yeah, that's what he's
definitely
called.
Not lying.
100%. This is the last cycle, so he's going to be starting the setup for Octoclip after this. We're going to see if he can get a nice attempt here. I mean, actually, if he does, he could honestly be looking at another PB pace already, which would be, you know, surely we're not going to see 2 PB paced runs at this level 2 days in a row, right? With Toads' run yesterday.
Looks like he does have some time save on this segment compared to his PB.
Yeah. And once again, like if you weren't here earlier in the race, Darky did get his latest PB just a couple of hours ago, like literally today. He got a mid 128, so definitely in really good form into this race. And right now is about. Of course, you always like to see close races, but it does suck to see.
Yeah, this Yeah, this kind of sucks,
Struggles
seeing
not to
him
clip.
try so often.
Again, getting knocked back, but I'm not 100% sure.
He needs
if
to
it's,
keep his cool and just get into the correct position.
Martin gonna start the octo clips as well. Does not get it first try, so now they are very even actually. We will see who gets it first, because this could decide a lot in terms of the race. Darky is into the
Darky
fight.
finally getting it.
Wow. But this has... if Martin can get it at any point soon, it will be a very competitive race still. Neither of them are going to be able to manipulate the fight at this point. So we will see what luck they manage to get here.
This could all depend on RNG if Martin gets it quickly.
Martin is into the fight as well, so yeah, this will be interesting. I guess since you're the Octo expert, do you want to kind of talk about how this works real quick?
So this first phase is always the same. You just want to hit back 3 rocks. But on the second phase, the second phase is also the same, but like the third phase is where it starts like could be RNG depending if he throws a rock and then sucks, or if he throws 2 rocks. If he sucks first, that means there's going to be an ink phase which loses 30 seconds. If you do it perfectly, the maximum amount of ink phases you can get is 2, which would lose a minute.
Let's see it here for Darky. He gets an ink phase, so that's 30 seconds down the drain for him. Nothing he could have done.
Yep,
and Martin is about to go into it as well. Oh man, if Martin gets a 0 ink here, he would be actually ahead. Which would be in a very big turn in the race. That just really goes to show how much Octoclip can have an effect on things. But he also gets an ink phase.
Getting an ink.
And Darky does get through with 1 ink, so he's going to be keeping his lead out of the dungeon in the end, but not as big as it was at the start. Martin has definitely made up quite some time from getting the Octoclip faster.
Especially if he now gets not a 2 ink.
If he doesn't get 2 ink, which would be, I don't know, it would be very ironic, and he does get 2 ink. That is... Yeah,
he catches up, but then
quite uncommon.
Gets trapped by the RNG.
Baited us all. So, I mean, in the end, I guess, Darky kind of retaining a similar lead as the start of the dungeon, where he was almost 2 minutes ahead.
Now Inco could even... Like, Inco is getting 0 ink. So he's caught up with Martin.
Yeah, he's actually pulling ahead even. Wow. Fair play to Inco. I haven't been paying as much attention to his game since, of course, that race is already decided.
Must have gotten Octoclip pretty fast.
Yeah. Darky starting the quest ahead into Palace of Winds. That is a dungeon I would say that in terms of all of these second half of the run dungeons, is not really one where huge time swings happen. It's mostly skill-based, I would say, and of course a little bit of RNG, especially at the start of the dungeon and also the boss fight, but Dark Herald Castle is definitely where a lot of more things can go down, so I wouldn't count Martin out just yet. He is a minute behind at the moment of Darky, but mistakes in the endgame could definitely change things and still make it competitive. We will see what happens here.
Definitely.
So the person that wins this race later as well eventually will... Yeah, they will go into the winner's semifinals, if I remember correctly. And they will play against the winner of Semi-Rare and Session, whoever wins this one. Which, I mean, whoever makes it through there, that should also be a really interesting matchup. Anything in the later stages of the tournament should definitely be very competitive, so that will be exciting to see. And Inco, as previously mentioned, playing against me, we'll see how that goes. I mean, I can only hope that my time will be better than my last race.
I mean, they look like they're on pretty good pace now. So if that happens again in the race against you, I mean,
I'm completely cooked. What can I say? Yeah, Inco's PB is, from what I know at least, off the leaderboard, it's a 133. So this is looking to be a fairly solid run, despite some of the time losses earlier on. We'll see if he manages to keep it up for the late game as well, but definitely really cool to see. Darky is going to be heading into these Ocarina glitches. Head into Palace of Winds, missing that first one, but as long as they don't actually get the stairwalks, which normally won't happen with Modern, should not be too bad. Been messing up a little bit more than I would expect, considering, I mean, he's the one who invented this method of OGs. You would think he'd never mess up, but even gods can bleed. But he's into Palace of Winds now, gonna be starting it, and this first room right here is probably like the biggest RNG part of the dungeon, I would say. These P-hats are an extreme nuisance, as are these skeletons here.
The skeleton just going for him immediately.
Yeah, but it looks like he should be pretty good here as long as he gets past this last guy. Yeah, that was not bad at all.
That was pretty clean.
Martin also struggling a bit with the OG Modern, but thankfully not getting any extra Ocarina plays at least, so each individual attempt doesn't lose that much time when you're at least failing it in that way, and now he does get up as well. Darky getting a bit boosted there by the fire as well. Fun little strat you can do, which I guess sometimes can technically save time.
Yeah,
arguably.
Only on that screen, it should save a little bit of time.
Yeah. See if he gets through this wardrobe fight just fine. I believe all of our runners are going to be doing the lantern strat, as none of their usernames are Toadswoot. And Darky gets it very cleanly. Martin, meanwhile, in this very annoying room as well. We're gonna hope for him to not lose his clones. Okay, that was a little bit scary with the skeletons jumping, but he had it all under control.
So. I mean, they jump
no
if you walk diagonally. Didn't see anything going wrong there.
Of course, yeah. I was just being a little bit dramatic, of course, surely. Darky setting up for his stair clip here. We'll see if he gets a nice lineup here with the shield. Oh, okay. Now he gets on the right pixel. That's another one of those that can be super annoying because oftentimes it's very, very difficult in this game to move just that one pixel. So you saw him like kind of moving 2 pixels at a time there instead and just going over the actual pixel he wanted the whole time. Is that bomb still gonna hit the wardrobe? Ah, so close by Inco. Almost a clean fight as well. Oh no, Martin gets knocked off the platform. He's gonna have to wait for it to come back around here. That is also one of the most annoying mistakes. He does back it up very nicely though, baiting the blue chew out of the way. Getting back on track with not too much time lost at least, but Darky in the meantime having a pretty clean Palace of Winds, I would say, so far. Not really any big mistakes to speak of.
Took a little bit to get the stair clip, but it is very clean.
We'll see Martin set up here as well with lining up the bow. Instead, he gets it immediately. That was really, really fast. That is what you are looking to see. Nice little kills here by Darky on the chain, ball and chain dudes. Getting the swag jump to get the key. Very nice.
That's
you know who invented that? I feel like it must be like an old strat.
I don't know. I feel like we've always been doing it.
People have always been gaming with swag in this game. And in classic Darky fashion, not getting the extra health, of course. Instead opting for the lantern for the time save.
Maybe he gets a heart here.
Nah, it's Darky. He won't get a heart. Going into the Georg fight with a little bit less than full health. I mean, if he's just a little bit careful, he should be fine. But man, a death in this fight, that would
do a lot of damage.
Almost single-handedly, like, hand a massive lead over to Martin again. So he will have to be a little bit careful.
They opened the boss door already. They wouldn't be able to do that clip again.
Yeah. Darky is a glitchless expert, though, as we know, so he wouldn't have any trouble knowing the route.
He did start running this game with glitchless.
Ooh, messing up the fight a little bit here. Can he actually hit this pattern cloneless? Looks like he's going to opt to just clone instead. Oh, is he going to get... Yeah, he does get it on time, but his health is getting lower and lower. We're going to hope that he doesn't take it that fair, because, yeah, it's one of the biggest thefts you can take in the whole game.
Ooh.
Gets knocked off, so he's quite low. Oh, nice pattern there. As long as he can avoid these orbs. Getting a little bit...
These orbs do 1 health of damage.
Yeah, it's... Nice dodge. Very nicely done. Just the final cycle left for Darky. And it's looking good. I would be very shocked to see a death at this point. Even gets the good RNG. He's in good shape.
Did manage to dodge everything.
But yeah, he had a very clean dungeon up until that. Actually, to notice that he got a best split according to his splits on his stream.
Oh, wow.
On entering Georg, so that is very well played by him, given how optimized his golds are for sure. That was very nicely done until the boss fight, which Martin is now also on as well, but with a little bit more health, so he should have no need to really be scared, just kind of worrying about killing the boss as fast as possible, getting these double hits on the blue Georgs, which he unfortunately missed there, but not a huge deal. Ooh, unfortunate pattern.
Yeah, he got the bad RNG here.
Gonna hope that he can at least kill the ice on this cycle.
He got the good pattern.
Gets the cloneless pattern. Will it be enough to kill them all, though? It is nicely done. See this moblin fight here by Darky. Not the greatest pattern, but he does get through it just fine. You normally want the guy on the right to kind of dash to the left, so he just kind of lines up for you to finish him off. Stayed on the right.
Cloneless as well. Oh, and Inco as well.
So many cloneless patterns today.
Cloneless.
It's kind of what I'm saying earlier on, that like when you see one rare thing happen for one runner, it just kind of happens for everyone. Unless it's not like, it's not super exceedingly rare, mind you, but like, I don't know. Still very lucky to get that many times, I would say. Martin finishing the dungeon about 1.5 minutes behind Darky at this point. So Darky did pick up a bit of a lead there, but we will see how the last dungeon goes as well. That is one of the hardest parts of the run, and there's going to be the manipulations for the boss fight at the end for the first 2 phases, so whether or not you get that can definitely also decide whether or not he gets to keep this lead the way it is. Martin actually opts to go for the right side first, which definitely paid off because the left guy decided to dash right. That was a really clean fight by him. And he saved some time.
RNG.
Inco showing off some nice little boomerang strats. Bit safer.
Is pretty nice.
Yeah, when you stun them, the spear can no longer hit you, so it becomes very simple. Just with the extra menu and a bit of extra time throwing the boomerang. And now everyone's into cutscenes. So exciting. In a way, I kind of miss when in the old route we would have to go through the guards. Wait, he reset? Oh man. It would be a pretty big shame if Martin accidentally reset as well. But Martin doesn't reset runs, so that won't happen. Alright, we are pretty much past all the cutscenes now here for Darky, so he's going to be heading into the actual dungeon itself here. Just after doing this little clone thing in the Palace of the Sword. It's going to be most likely having no trouble with the cutscene walk in this room, but then we'll see how he decides to go about the stair clip start of the dungeon, because some people do have a setup for it, which is still kind of annoying to do sometimes, depending on what the moblin and the room does, but some people also just decide to YOLO it, since it's a 50-50 chance, depending on what subpixels you have, whether or not the clip works. We'll see how
50,
quickly he manages
you
to
get
get
it or
here.
you don't get it.
Exactly. Looks like he's at least gonna attempt a setup here.
Yep.
The moblin going right. He stops accordingly, but yeah, he unfortunately still gets some dashing.
Can't do the setup that way.
Yeah, so we'll see. He gets 1 bonk. 2. Gets it on the 4th try at least, so a little bit slow, but he's through it at least. We'll see how Martin does here in a little bit as well. What's your bet here? Is everyone gonna land cannonless today?
In my heart, I'm an optimist, so I believe they can all get it.
Well, yeah, let's see it. Darky, our first runner, approaching the trick that will get you banned if you do fail it, so he does get it. Stays alive, thankfully for him. We'll see if our other runners also manage to get it. Very important. And now Martin is also going to be attempting the setup here. Oof. Looks like he got it, so that's a bit of time gain there on Darky. Nicely done by him.
It was an interesting bonk that he did there. I'm not quite sure what that was.
Oh, really, really clean first OG by Darky. There's going to be 3 you have to do in this dungeon. fall from like staircases like that, so of course stairwalking loses a bunch of time. Extra ocarina plays also losing a bunch of time. Hoping to see none of that from either of the runners, as Martin also gets through the cannonless. What a gamer. A very nice stair clip also on the side of Inco. Continuing his good run of his own.
It wasn't that nice, actually.
Damn.
They had some trouble with the spare moblin.
He got it, and that's what matters, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice OG there by Darky as well. He does have one more left. Coming up in a couple of rooms here before he is free.
All three get cannonless.
I mean, you had a good prediction. Nice job. Sometimes it pays off to be optimistic. Important tip for anyone watching.
Yep. Keep a positive mindset.
See the last OG from Darky. Messed it up one time. This room is especially scary since there are those fire wishrobes that spawn in if you miss it a couple of times, but he did get it second try. Not bad at all. And that was the last one of the run, so doesn't have to worry about that anymore. Picking up some extra money there. Martin almost dashing the wrong way, which would have been unfortunate if he bonked with Ocarina Glitch active. Very interesting menu there by Darky, but he does find his sword eventually. Gets the Dark Nut fight down as well. Very nicely done. And we're gonna see Martin approaching the final OG here as well. Hoping to see it done cleanly. Messing it up there the first time.
I don't really know
it up with classic.
What the RNG manipulation here looks like, but I don't think Darky is doing that.
He is going for the left side at least, which I think both of them are going to go for. This is definitely the scariest part of this room. I mean, it is where the trick happens, but also because these skeletons can walk left and ruin things, but maybe this will work. I am honestly not sure of that position, but let's see. It did work. Nicely done. Fairly decent DHC overall by Darky. A few slip-ups here and there, but nothing too major. As he heads into the manips for the final fights. Martin making sure to grab an extra fairy. Immediately gets hit though, so he gained like half a heart, which, you know, worth. I'm not sure which manip Darky goes for personally, but I guess we will see. Whether or not he gets this Vadi manip and Darknuts successfully is probably pretty much like decides if Martin does get a chance here to catch up, barring any unexpected deaths on the final fight, which would be surprising, but I've also seen more crazy things in the past.
Surprising, but not that unlikely.
Martin actually getting some poor RNG there with the skeletons. 2 of them moved to about the position he wanted to use for the flame, so he's gonna have to take this the backup way, essentially, going down here and up the stairs. Avoiding the Gibdos nicely. Darky is on the Darknut manip. Which way will he do this? It looks like Vlak, most likely.
Oh yeah, it looks like black.
And he gets the Darknuts done without any problems, so
That was nice.
he's into the body fights as Martin
If you don't get that
starting
manip, these
his
dark nuts
manip as
can be
well.
very, very difficult to beat.
Yeah, that's something we definitely saw in the races yesterday as well, with Toads being on such good pace into the Darknuts, but then messing up the manip and losing so much time there, which kind of killed it unfortunately there. But Darky's still on the manip, so we'll see if he manages to carry a true Vadi 1 as well. It's definitely really, really nice if you can do so. You avoid plenty of time lost that can happen if you let him get the freedom of just warping around everywhere. And on Vadi 2 as well. Seemed pretty good for Vadi 1 for Darky, so we'll see if he can keep it into Vadi 2 as well. Martin going into Darknuts in the meantime. He should have this manip set up for them as well. Oh, he messes up the movement afterwards, though. That is most likely gonna seal the race unless anything really unfortunate happens to Darky
So
here at the
far,
end.
it
He's
looks
still on
like
the manip.
Ducky is performing the manip pretty good, like really good.
Yeah, it's looking nice so far. Just got the last cycle left here, still on the manip. Oh, but he actually
Ooh.
he advanced RNG a little bit wrong there at the end, but if I'm not mistaken, it should still be a... Oh, but he gets hit by a rock. Damn. And he actually moved to the right anyway, so it would have been a pretty... Like, in the end, actually, this worked out not too badly for him, I
This
would
worked
say.
out better than Vati moving afterwards.
So, nice fights overall there by Darky. He just does... he just has body free left. And he's most likely going to be taking this race. Martin having to do this fight unmanipulated, which is... Yeah, well... Vadi
I can
is
already
just
see Vati just teleporting a
warping
bunch.
all over the place. Not really much you can do at that point. Do want to give credits though for I mean, it was a fairly competitive race even to this point, where if Darky had messed this up in a way that Martin did here, could have been pretty close in the end. Martin did also have the 2 ink on Octo, so that lost a little bit of extra time. Of course, Darky, though, having lost much more on Octo Clip itself, which made the race closer in the first place. Vadi 2 especially here is can be really, really bad if you're not manipulating him. We'll see what kind of fight Martin gets here, but Vadi 3 actually taking a very long time to drop his arm for Darky. That was
Vati taking its
quite
time.
ridiculous. But he is looking good with the health, so I would be surprised to see a death at this point. 3.5 hearts should be definitely enough for the second arm. Assuming he doesn't mess up in the last phase. He should be golden here. Not going for the boomerang strats, just gonna go straight in. But he gets a very nice stun lock on the wall to that guy, so this should be it. Just the last 3 hitbacks on Vadi, and Darky will be taking the victory in the race. Martin doing the classic mistake there of releasing the spin attack too early. We've all been there at some point, I feel.
We have. Yeah, definitely.
At least I have. Not everyone can be so good to not make those kind of mistakes. But I think this is the last hit for Darky.
This is the last hit.
GG's to him.
GG.
Solid 131. Given how much time he lost there, he lost about 3 minutes on Octoclip, so...
Yeah, considering Octoclip, I mean, he played really well.
He would have kept it really close.
Look at Martin.
Oh, doing the stair clip for the fans.
Doing the stair clip for the fans.
What a man. But yeah, GG's to Darky. Congrats on the victory. We'll see if he ends up joining us for an interview afterwards. But yeah, really solid performance by him. Just that Octoclip. But otherwise, played very, very well today. And Vadifree really not working with Martin either. What are these? What is this luck for both runners? Again, proves my theory correctly that when something crazy like that happens to one runner, it just happens to everyone. It's game is just kind of cursed like that. It's like Darky is in the waiting room for the interview now. So we'll see if he can join us very soon. Get some thoughts on the race. Martin in the meantime finishing off Vadifree on his own screen. Just got the last couple of phases here left. And no electric attack either. There is a limit after all to Vadi's bad RNG. Oh. Is that an arrow kill I see from Martin?
The arrow kill.
Very nice stuff. GG's to Martin as well.
GG's to Martin.
And Inco very close to the end as well, but yeah, of course. His rate is being decided quite a long time ago, since Draqueus unfortunately had unfortunate forfeit earlier on in the race. So our two winners of today will be DarkySquid in the upper bracket race and Inco in the lower bracket one.
Maybe.
I think both of our finished runners are waiting to be dragged into the interview at the moment. See if we can get them in here very soon. There we have it.
Low.
GG's, gamers.
GG's.
That was a very interesting race. Darky,
right.
Do you have any particular comments on Octoclip that you want to share with the world?
Pretty easy trick. I can
Bien sûr. Bien sûr.
But other than
Martin,
that, I mean...
You actually caught up getting Octoclip faster than Darky.
Yeah, I heard he lost like 3 minutes.
Yeah, which is crazy because he ended with like a 131 as well, so it would have been really
apart
close
from
to
that,
another
it was
PB.
You see, I even got almost the whole Valley Manip. Are you proud, Nitros?
I am so proud. I never thought I would see
I
the
knew
day.
it.
I mean, I always believed.
Out of time.
And Inco finishes his run as well. GG's. To him.
GG's.
Yes.
Landed a new personal best time in race time.
Oh my
Legendary.
god. Sheesh.
But yeah, I mean, other than the Octoclip incident
Yeah.
itself, I mean, would you say we're pretty happy with
Ouais,
the run
eu des
overall,
gros,
Darky?
Well, first cycle
trucs
lily pad, first time of
qui
my
sont
life.
passés,
Yeah.
mal.
That was crazy.
I learned the setup like yesterday.
I
was
wonder if
insane,
we'll
yeah.
get to see it again in the tournament. It's funny because me and Martin in the commentary yesterday kind of both agreed on the fact that it would be very, very unlikely for us to see it at all in the tournament, and you
Well,
just
yeah.
immediately proving me wrong the next day. I mean,
I know.
well done.
Mhm.
And I mean, Martin, you had like decent chance. It's almost like the game kind of trolled because you were catching up with Octoclip, but then you also got 2-ink afterwards, which put you behind again.
Oh no.
So if you had gotten 0-ink, you actually would have ended ahead, I'm pretty sure, of Darky.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I got the
the
usual
Octoclip
warning.
did shake things up.
I did 3
Yeah.
rolls, so that's why.
Should have done 3 rolls.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the rest of the good run wasn't that great either. I was like, I don't know why I had so much trouble with OGs. I
Both
just
of you honestly missed a lot of
Yeah,
OGs,
my
I feel
OGs
like.
sucked so much. Inco, GG.
Yo,
GG.
GG's, thank you.
GG's, Inco.
GG, GG
Congrats
everyone.
on the win in the race.
Yeah, thank you. I'm stoked.
Yeah.
I'm
I
just
guess it
going to
wasn't.
be diminishing my sound. Okay. Sound on 7, it's better. Okay, no, yeah.
How do you feel about the race, or rather, I guess the run you did? Because it wasn't really much of a race in the end, but I mean, still had to finish the run.
Yeah, so my feeling about it is that it was really going well all the way, like very consistent, except for a few things that, like, bad things that happened, like me kind of panicking on Chronal Clip for some reason, the
Oh, right,
bad chew fight. And other than that, I'm kind of frustrated because I've been practicing Vati manip a lot and like failing it right away because I wasn't focused on the
It's
ball and
impossible
chain.
anyway.
Yeah, not even a. God, can't even
Something
remember how many hours I practiced that.
something you managed to do much better than the other racers, though, actually, was Octoclip. You got that really quickly. I didn't see exactly
Yeah.
which try it was, but you even got 0-ink as well, so
Yeah,
actually,
so
at that point, you were
the 0-ink,
of Martin.
I've got no excuses for that. Like, it's a total fluke. I was lucky because I messed up the manip. But other than that, the Octoclip was actually first try,
Yeah.
like in the
Alright.
Really
previous
sick.
race. So I'm very proud of that.
Yeah, very nice.
Nice.
But I'm kind of less proud of fucking up the manip. Because of nothing really. So, but yeah, other than that, really great.
I mean, still well played. You did win the race, and you will advance to next week, where you'll actually be playing against me.
Ooh,
How do you feel about
okay.
that potential matchup?
How do I feel about playing against you? The one thing I feel is that I need to not slack on training. So I've been kind of postponing training because of tendinitis 2 days ago.
Oh yeah.
It went away. Yeah, I'm glad. So I may be able to begin training again for real. Like put in real hours, real runs over the next week, probably.
Definitely hoping
And
for the best of that, yeah.
how do you feel though?
Well, it's very interesting because you have gotten first try in both of your races, I think, now on Octoclip, and in my last
Yeah.
race, I lost like 9 minutes on Octoclip. So if
9
anything like that
minutes?
happens again,
God
then
damn. Is it
I'm
like
completely cooked.
stress of the race or something like that?
I don't
I
know. I
don't know.
think they just patched it. My cartridge was a bit cursed, so that's why I'm playing
That's
on Switch
true.
now instead.
Screw
that,
you, Nintendo.
Yeah,
Yeah. God
that'll
damn it.
definitely be fun. And Darky, since you won your race, you'll be going up against the winner of Semi-Rare and Session next week.
Yeah, it's going
It'd
to
be an
get
interesting
Any
hard.
matchup.
Session.
Maybe if I lose 3 minutes again on Octoclip, I'm gonna lose this time.
By the
We'll
way,
see.
Darky, congrats on your new PB.
Oh, thanks.
The
Yeah,
28, right?
nice.
Yeah, exactly. 128.33.
That is so incredible. Like,
Thanks.
yeah, insane.
Wait. Yeah, so Martin, you'll be playing against Kato next week, I believe, as well.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that potential matchup?
Well, anything can happen
Yeah,
in
it's
this
the
game.
fun part of the newest any percent route is that it's all competitive,
Yeah.
thanks to the awesome trick that is Octoclip.
I was very happy with my early game this run, and then I just had some awesome mistakes and Fortress of Winds, of course. And then my Temple of Droplets was so bad, but apart from that, I think my run, honestly, not too bad. I think I can definitely get some good times soon. Maybe get a better race time as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's another race going on right now as well that I'm assuming is on Myth's channel, if I had to guess, between Cakery and Command. The winner of that will be playing as Fire Turtle and a co-commentator next week. So
Ooh.
there's
I
plenty
should
of
pay
matches to look
attention.
forward to. Yeah, maybe it's time to take some notes.
By the
Yeah.
way, K3 against Command is like in like 10 minutes, right?
Oh, has it not started yet? Okay.
I don't know. Like 2 hours ago, they said it was like at 10 p.m. or something.
No,
Yes,
no,
it
it's
has.
still
already
It has,
on.
not, it has
No,
already
they're
started.
51 minutes in.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
it's not being restreamed.
I'll be watching that then.
Yeah, definitely pay attention on the runners' individual channels for that one. But I guess
And
other than that,
also,
we're
Command has been on a come up,
Mm-hmm.
like learning actual Octoclip and all.
oh yeah, he didn't do Octoclip before, right?
Yeah, he had
For
Yeah.
that
a good
tournament.
PB without it, and now
That's
he's
right.
Octoclips is improving very fast. Pretty
Always
cool.
fun to see. Yeah, I think other than that, we pretty much covered everything about the race. Should be pretty done here. So we can finish things up.
All right, then let me do that. I hope you all enjoyed what you saw. Thank you so much to our racers for a great showing, even though it didn't quite um, work out for Draqueus. But yeah, thank you anybody who watched, thank you anybody who played, and of course a big shout out to our two volunteers, to Nitros and to Fire Turtle. There's going to be plenty more for the tournament in the next few weeks. And that's it for now. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a good evening, and see you soon.